Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name's Molly, and today I'm going to be starting a new reaction series. I'm going to be watching, reviewing, and reacting to Season 1, Episode 1 of Hannibal. So this is the show that won the Viewer's Choice poll that I posted a few weeks ago, and I'm really excited to get into this show. Besides the fact that I've heard a lot of positive things from people in the comments and then from other people just outside in the regular world at various points in time, I actually have seen Silence of the Lambs so many times. It's one of my favorite movies. I've read all of the Thomas Harris books on the character of Hannibal Lecter. I've seen the other films as well. Some I like more than others, but you know. But I enjoyed almost all of them. We'll just leave it at that. But so basically the point being, I am very familiar with, all of the characters that are kind of the basis for this story. So what I've heard is that the show follows that in some respects, but it tries to put a new twist on things and then takes the story in somewhat different directions so that it's just not a rehashing of everything that showed up in the various films, whether it be Red Dragon or Manhunter or Silence of the Lambs and then Hannibal, so that we have a little bit of a new viewing experience beyond just having different actors and actresses involved. Alright, so I'm pretty excited, and hopefully you guys are excited too. And I would just like to say a quick message before I really get into the episode, and that is that after a lot of discussions with people, I have decided to start a Patreon. Now, there are various different rewards for different levels of contribution on this Patreon site that I started. So if you are interested in some particular rewards like early access videos or extended length videos or even just behind the scenes stuff, the ability to have Q&A questions, that sort of thing, please do head on over to my Patreon, check it out, see if there's anything that appeals to you. But just to be clear, if that's not something that you're interested in, no worries at all. I'm very happy for people just supporting me by coming on and liking my videos and chatting with me in the comment section. But if you are interested, check out the link down in the description below. Alright, so with all of that being said, let's start Hannibal. Here we go.
Shoot Mr. Marlowe twice, severing jugulars and carotids with near surgical precision. He will die watching me take what is his away from him. This is my design. False alarm last week.
Like, you read about people who work in chasing serial killers and do some sort of level of profiling and having to get into people's heads, but that's something else. That depiction.
Teresa Marlowe. Can you please confirm your password for security purposes? Tea kettle. Thank you, Mrs. Marlowe. We detected a front door alarm. Yeah, sorry about that. Is there anyone in the house with you at this time, Mrs. Marlowe?
That's too easy to do.
I'm just here with my husband.
That's creepy.
Do you require any further assistance? No. Thank you so much for calling.
This is when it gets truly horrifying for Mrs. Marlowe.
Laying there realizing what happened. Oh my god. You imagine
Everyone's
that?
thought about killing someone, one way or another.
That's an opening to a
If you
show.
need a hand or the hand of God. My horse is hitched to a post that is closer to Asperger's and autistics than narcissists and sociopaths.
But you can empathize with narcissists and
I
sociopaths.
can empathize with anybody. It's less to do with a personality disorder than an active imagination.
Can I borrow your imagination? 8. I want you to get closer to this.
No. You have Heimlich at Harvard and Bloom at Georgetown. They do the same thing I do.
That's not exactly true, is it? You have a very specific way of thinking about things.
There's been a lot of discussion about the specific way, I think.
You make jumps you can't explain.
No. The evidence explains.
And help me find some evidence.
That may require me to be sociable.
Sorry, Will.
I need you to leave the room.
What, he came back and put her body there? But all the rest had disappeared.
Take your time. When you're ready to talk, you talk.
Aww. Oh, puppy. He's like, thank you. Thank you, nice man.
Winston, this is everybody. Everybody, this is Winston.
Oh, he saves dogs. Oh my god. Well, now I just love him already. I mean, Will Graham's a cool character in general, but this version... Aww.
Would have to be published posthumously.
I like they made Bloom into a
Never been
woman.
alone with him because you have a professional curiosity about him.
Normally, I wouldn't even broach this. But what do you think one of Will's
And I really like
strongest
her outfit.
drives is?
Fear.
I mean, like, I would like it. I want her outfit.
Comes with his imagination.
It's the price of imagination.
Alana, I wouldn't put him out there if I didn't think I could cover him.
Well, that's Jack Crawford
All right,
arrogance.
I didn't think I could cover him 80%.
I wouldn't put him out there.
He's out there. I need him out there. Should he
It's
get
the arrogance
too
of
close,
the
I
guy
need to
that
make
would
sure he's
send
not
a
out there alone.
trainee to talk to Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs.
Promise me something, Kat. Don't let him get too close.
He won't get too close.
Other injuries were probably but not conclusively post-mortem, so not gored.
She has lots of piercings that look like they were caused by deer antlers. They didn't say the deer was responsible for putting them there.
She was mounted on them. Like hooks. She may have been bled.
Her liver was removed.
See that?
Mm-hmm. Took it out, and then,
Oh.
he put it back in.
Huh. Well, he cut it out if he's just gonna sew it back in again. There's something wrong with the meat. She has liver cancer. He's eating them.
And we're gonna transition to Hannibal now.
This cannibal you have been getting to know. I think I can help Goodwill see his face.
He took her lungs.
Oh my god.
Pretty sure she was
Hannibal
alive
killed
when
this
he
girl and set up the scene. This is how he's helping Will. See that guy's face?
Our cannibal
And now he's
loves
eating it.
women. He doesn't want to destroy them. He wants to consume them. Keep some part of them inside. This girl's killer thought that she was a pig.
You think this was a copycat?
The cannibal who killed Elise Nichols had a place to do it and no interest in field kabuki. So he has a house or two, or a cabin, something with an ampler room.
I guess this is working. It's working.
He has a daughter. Same age as the other girls. Same hair color, same eye color, same height, same weight. She's an only child. She's leaving home. stand the thought of losing her. She's his golden ticket.
What about the copycat?
You know, an intelligent psychopath, particularly a sadist, very hard to catch. There's no traceable motive. There'll be no patterns. He may never kill this way again. Have Dr. Lecter draw up a psychological profile. He seemed very impressed with his opinion.
I don't find you that interesting.
You will.
Yeah. Probably.
Jack Crawford tells me I have a knack for the monsters.
I don't think the Shrike killed that girl on the field.
You and I are just alike. Problem-free. Nothing about us to feel horrible about.
Ugh.
You know, Will? I think Uncle Jack's seashells a fragile little teacup.
Uncle Jack.
Finest china used for only special guests.
How do you see me?
The mongoose I went under the house when the snake slithered by. Finish your breakfast. Go to 6
Wow.
a.m. Listen very carefully. Are you listening?
Yes.
Why is he
You know.
doing this?
FBI!
Oh. Oh, you gotta calm down. That's curious. Alright, well, that was season 1, episode 1 of Hannibal. Well, that was quite the start to a series. As I said at the very beginning, it kind of pushes you in right away to some pretty intense stuff. As I mentioned, I have in the past, read some material and then seen other things that gives you a sense into the minds and lives of the people that do this kind of work and the emotional toll and psychological toll that it can have on them trying to force themselves into the minds and perspectives of these killers. So it's not a surprise to me that that's going to be a major focus for Will's character in particular. But it's very interesting the way that they've actually done it, where he literally seems to be in his mind almost living through what he imagines with himself in the position of the killer. So that seems to be like on a whole other level of feeling connection with killers. And I mean, you can see that takes a toll, and you can see why the Alana version of Dr. Bloom would be concerned about somebody who just naturally does relate to people in that way, when he tries anyway, being put out in this sort of situation where he can get too close to them. So I really like that they went in that direction. I think it makes for a more compelling, kind of interesting tension within Will himself going forward, that he'll be fighting with himself whilst he's fighting to catch other people, because he's kind of merging himself with them in some respects, emotionally. So that's interesting. And also just from a viewer standpoint, having the actual scenarios being filmed like this is cool to watch, is interesting. Another thing that I of course mentioned already, that I now love this version of Will Graham based on the fact that he takes in all these dogs that he finds, he cares for these little lost animals. And it does make sense, again, this idea that he is someone that has difficulty actually socializing with people, relating to people, partially because of what it's like for him to get into their heads and how it happens so easily. But you can tell that he has, when they say he has a kind of pure empathy, which I'm not sure if that's something that psychologists actually would say exists. You know, people in the comments, if you have information on this, if you know something, if you studied it, please let me know. But that's what he has here in this world. And it makes sense to me. You can see how somebody who had that sort of perspective would just have so much compassion for animals in those situations. So, and I just like it because I'm an animal lover. But so I thought that was cool. And I also thought that the way that they introduced this version of Hannibal was great. Just excellent to have that kind of realization that Will comes to, that cannibalism is occurring, and then just transition over to Hannibal eating, implication being that he's eating someone. I'm not sure if the show was trying to make you think off the bat that this first cannibal was going to be Hannibal. I think that not necessarily, maybe they thought some people would believe that, but it was pretty clear early on from the things Will was saying about you know, the pattern of the same appearance of girls and everything. That's not Hannibal Lecter, but then the way that they did actually introduce who he truly is as a killer, who his killer version of himself is, was also really cool. The idea that he's been called in by the FBI to profile Will, and then as a part of that, he sees that Will is having difficulty with this case, and he thinks, oh, you know what? I know how to help that. I'll just kill someone else myself. Someone that looks similar to all these other victims, and I'll kind of make the crime itself look similar too, but I'll put plenty of hints in there that will really highlight to him, you know, how much contempt I have for this person and the things that I'm trying to do, and that'll show what's so different about the other victims and the other deaths. That was fascinating and great. I absolutely loved it. It was awesome. Great introduction to Hannibal. And also, like I said, you can tell, so it's Mads Mikkelsen, you can absolutely tell with this version of Hannibal how everyone would see him as this charming, brilliant, just exciting to be around personality. He's so calm, and he seems to be compassionate, he seems to be just interesting, and like I said, really charming, even down to the way that he decorates things is wow. The visuals on the show already, you can tell that it's going to be great going forward if it keeps up in this style. But point being, you can see how this kind of persona that he's got would help to hide from people the reality of what he's really like and has done. So we'll see. But so other than that, just a couple things to comment on. One, I think that the scene where Hannibal calls the other cannibal killer, at first I was kind of thinking, well, why is he doing this? He's not have some sort of just like solidarity with other killers, but that really didn't, I don't know. I think it's more likely, it makes more sense to me that maybe he called him because he knew that he and Will were going to be going there, and he thought it would make for a more interesting situation because he's trying to like see what Will is doing. So, could be wrong, but I imagine that I'm probably right, since he's been seemingly trying to observe and understand Will throughout the course of this episode, and he seems to want Will to interact with him, but based by that breakfast eating scene, which I assume that sausage he fed him was maybe human meat. I don't know. But based on that conversation where Will is saying, I don't find you interesting, and Hannibal says, you will, you know, you get the sense that that's what he wants to happen for him to find him interesting. I don't know. It's curious. It's curious. But then also that ties into the scene at the end where you see Hannibal is in there. First he comes through and he saves the daughter, the girl, which could just be chalked up to, you know, he's there with Will if he just didn't do anything that would look weird or suspicious. But then you see him in the hospital just sitting there holding the girl's hand, and again, based on everything that I know about the Hannibal Lecter character, it seems incredibly unlikely that he just feels bad for or cares for this girl that he doesn't know in any way. It's most likely just part of what he's decided to do apparently with Will, whatever strange game he's decided to play with him. So it was a good setup, and I'll be very interested to see how the dynamic between the two plays out going forward. I think that the idea of having Hannibal brought in specifically to kind of deal with Will and his issues is a good way to bring him in and make sure that the two of them are probably going to be interacting a lot. So, but yeah, overall I thought it was really well done. I thought it was well acted, well written, interesting introductions to characters, and as I said, also just the visuals. Fantastic visuals so far. So, one episode down, so far so good. And if you think that there's anything else that was important that I didn't catch, please do let me know in the comment section below. Same thing goes if you have any questions. Leave them down below and we can continue chatting going forward. Alright? So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much to anybody who has been watching any of my videos, liking them, anybody who subscribed. I appreciate the support. Other than that, I'll just say, hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.